what's going on right now because I'm hearing
The Los
noises.
Angeles
I'm
Police Department is currently on tactical
I haven't
alert.
seen her in weeks. I haven't seen her in like a month.
If there are people who do not believe in you, prove to them that you are worthy. You are already a success. That was the quote Sophie Manassyan opened with months ago, when people first started noticing something strange. The collaborations had stopped. The energy had shifted. Nevada was spiraling out of control and Sophie Manassyan was gone. But now, everybody knows why. And when I say this story goes deep, I mean really deep. Fake friendships, content that crossed the line, clout chasing at the cost of real safety, and even rumors of adults behind the scenes pulling strings while a 17-year-old tried to keep her peace. This is not just another story about influencer drama. This is a warning about how fast things can go south when the cameras are always on, and clout becomes more important than self-care. So grab your tea, because we're going all in. This is the full breakdown of how Nevada betrayed Sophie Manassyan, and how one teenager had to walk away from a so-called friendship that was anything but real. Let's rewind a little. Sophie Manassyan and Nevada were once internet besties. We're talking with coordinated outfits, viral challenges, day-in-the-life vlogs, everything the algorithm loves. To fans, they were inseparable. Young, fun, edgy but wholesome. A Bratz meets Disney aesthetic that felt fresh in a sea of overproduced content, but slowly, the vibe changed. Nevada started leaning into chaos. Sophie Manassyan started posting less oftenly with her. Fans began asking, where is Sophie Manassyan? Why were they not filming together anymore? Now, after weeks of silence, the truth is slowly coming out. And it's worse than anyone expected. Nevada built her online brand on aesthetic confusion. One minute she's a high-fashion it girl eating glitter for breakfast, the next she's shooting low-resolution sad girl GRWMs while romanticizing total dysfunction. To the casual viewer, it was edgy, mysterious, cool. But to anyone paying attention, it was very disturbing. Especially when she starts sharing clips bragging about not eating for 9 days. Yes, not a metaphor, she literally said it. Before this day, I didn't eat for like 9 days. And that was not a one-off. In another video, she proudly listed Red Bull as her entire meal for the day. First thing I eat in the morning, Red Bull. Second thing, Red Bull. Third, Red Bull. And that's it. No food. No water. Just vibes and energy drinks, even worse. She posted it like it was some fun, quirky what I eat in a day trend. With captions like who else does this, and a wink. Let that sink in. A 21-year-old woman, with a huge following of teenage girls, turning starvation into content, and instead of being called out immediately, Sophie Manassyan? She never posted stuff like this. In fact, her whole image was the opposite: fun, energetic, eating donuts while joking about how food gives her energy to nap. So when Nevada started glorifying this dangerous aesthetics, Sophie Manassyan quietly took a step back. She did not announce it. She didn't call her out. She just stopped showing up. And for that, people are calling her the most mature person in the group. At only 17 years. Now here's where it gets worse. After the eating disorder content, you would think that Nevada might take a break. Reflect. Recalibrate. Instead, she doubled down and started collaborating with adult content creators like real OAF creators. One of them, Anna Malagon, has a literal adult site promo linked in every video. And there was Nevada, posing, laughing, linking arms like it's just another Wednesday. Another collab partner, Jenna. Her content is drenched in that weird, almost but not quite NSFW energy that influencers love to flirt with. They film date me skits where guys fight for attention, like some flirty TikTok reality show. Again, remember their audience. Nevada has 7 million YouTube followers and 2 million on IG. Most of them are kids, teenagers. Some still in middle school, and what are they watching? Thirst traps. Adult content creators. Girls barely dressed, giggling about how sad and hot they are, and this wasn't even subtle. The captions, the thumbnails, all dripping with that I'm innocent but not really vibe. Like a soft launch into the adult world just far enough to avoid being banned. At this point, fans were confused. Some were concerned. But Sophie Manassyan was already out. No more likes. No more tags. No more collaborations. Her silence started to speak louder than any post. Just when you thought it couldn't get more unhinged, Nevada released a video that turned stalking into content. Yup. She created a romantic storyline about a stalker. Framed it like a dreamy GRWM vlog. She even joked about making merch for her stalker. People who have actually been stalked were not laughing. Some even tried to joke with her like, "Don't go on the date, Nevada, we're worried about you." But underneath the humor, real fear, real confusion, real damage. And what's terrifying is that it wasn't framed as a joke. It was romantic, cute, stylized. She giggled through it like it was a makeup routine. Now imagine if Sophie had been pulled into that storyline too. They have done plenty of skits together before. What if the next one featured her as the other girl? Or the friend who helps? If Nevada was willing to fake a stalker romance for clout, what was stopping her from scripting it with Sophie? Sophie clearly saw the writing on the wall and ran before it got any worse. After months of glamorizing self-destruction, what did Nevada do? She launched a fake healing arc. Yup. Suddenly she was soft-spoken, posting sad music over golden hour sunsets, talking about therapy, thanking BetterHelp in a sponsored video. "I had problems with my weight. I found BetterHelp and it saved me." Hold on. This is the same creator who joked about not eating for days, who never acknowledged the harm, never apologized, never said, "Hey, I messed up." She just slapped a therapy label on it and moved on like it was a phase, and just like that she was now selling wellness, self-love, mental health. And the worst part, she almost succeeded until now, because behind the soft edits and long captions, Nevada was still copying Sofi Manassyan. The clothes, the captions, the energy, like she wanted Sophie's glow without doing any of the work to earn it. So why did Sophie go silent? Why didn't she expose Nevada sooner? Because she didn't need to. She let the truth reveal itself. She chose peace, she chose herself. But what happens when silence isn't enough? What happens when your name gets dragged into mess you never agreed to be part of? In part 2, we'll go even deeper into Nevada's manipulation tactics, the adult figures in her circle, and how one teenager outsmarted a whole machine of toxic influence. Because this isn't just drama. This is a wake-up call. In part 1, we talked about Sophie Manassyan's silence, how she walked away from a collapsing friendship instead of publicly calling Nevada out. But what if I told you that behind the silence, there was a storm building? That Nevada wasn't just spiraling, she was manipulating, calculating, and testing just how far she could push people before they finally snapped. And Sophie, she saw it coming a mile away. This isn't your typical friendship breakup story. This is the story of a young woman who was gaslit, used, and emotionally cornered, all under the bright lights of YouTube and TikTok. Let's unpack the red flags Nevada threw like confetti and how Sophie dodged every single one. It started out like most influencer friendships do: casual collabs, matching outfits, silly trends, vlogs that looked spontaneous but were anything but. But behind the scenes, Nevada was crafting a narrative. She wanted to script things, add twists, create friction. Because it was real, but because fake drama performs better than honesty, Sophie. She wasn't into that. In multiple deleted clips, Nevada is heard saying things like, "Let's just pretend there's a problem. Like I forgot your birthday or something. It'll get clicks." Sophie reportedly refused. She didn't want to stage fights, or breakups, or fake apologies. She wanted her content to be fun, not manipulative. That's when the pressure started. Nevada began dropping passive-aggressive comments on camera, but when someone repeats that over and over, they start training you to doubt yourself. Classic manipulation. Make the other person question their boundaries. Make them feel like they're the problem for wanting honesty. If there's one thing Nevada was good at, it was gaslighting with a smile. Let's break it down. Say Sophie tried to express concern. "I don't feel okay pretending to be in a fake relationship for views." Nevada's response: "Wow. I didn't think you were gonna turn into one of those preachy types. It's not that deep." Say Sophie asked for time off filming. "You're always tired lately. You're not into this anymore. Are you okay?" Sounds like concern, but it's twisted. It makes the other person feel guilty for setting boundaries. Soon Sophie started pulling away, not just from Nevada, but from their whole group. She was exhausted. She stopped responding to collab DMs. She cancelled a brand shoot that Nevada had pressured her into. That's when the sabotage began. A few weeks after Sophie stepped back, Creators in their circle started acting weird. 1 unfollowed. Another posted a shady story with the caption, "Don't act righteous now just because you dipped." And who was behind that shift? Nevada. Screenshots leaked of her texting mutual friends. "Sophie's switched up. She thinks she's better than all of us. She's just mad I'm blowing up faster. Let her do her healing arc. I'll do my numbers." That last line, that's when people started realizing this wasn't just a messy friendship. This was deliberate manipulation from someone obsessed with control, and she didn't stop there. Here's where things get creepy. After Sophie stepped back, Nevada rebranded. She started dressing like Sophie, copying her hair, repeating phrases Sophie used to say on stream. Even worse, she began mocking Sophie's quiet nature in subtle ways. Not everyone's cut out for this life. Some people act chill, but that's just code for boring. And then came the saddest twist. Nevada started mimicking mental health content. She'd post moody photos with captions like, "Healing in silence. The pain changed me." At first glance, it looked like growth. But the timelines didn't lie. These posts came right after Sophie had shared genuine struggles. And while Sophie kept her tone sincere, Nevada's version felt hollow, like cosplay. Like content. Let's talk about the people who could have stopped this and didn't. Nevada wasn't alone. Her rise was carefully managed by a team of adults who saw her as a product, not a person. Managers, PR representatives, even brand consultants, people who said things like, "She's edgy. Let her be herself. Don't kill the vibe. Let's lean into the chaos, it's what sells." They knew what she was posting. They knew the skits were crossing lines. They knew she was faking vulnerable stories and encouraging disordered eating habits. But they didn't step in. Why? Because she was trending, and as long as the numbers stayed high, they stayed silent. Meanwhile, Sophie had no such team. No machine. Just herself and her instincts. And those instincts told her, "Get out." Everything changed the day Sophie quietly unfollowed Nevada. No announcement. No cryptic story. Just a clean break. Fans noticed instantly. Reddit threads exploded. What happened between Sophie and Nevada? Why did Sophie leave the group? Did Nevada fake a stalker story? People started putting pieces together. The eating videos. The fake healing arc. The adult collabs. The weird coded captions, and suddenly, the silence made sense. Sophie hadn't disappeared. She'd escaped. In toxic friendships, people always say, "Well, you could have talked it out." But how do you talk it out when the other person is building a brand off your silence, when they turn your boundaries into content, when their entire circle starts whispering behind your back like you're the villain for walking away? Sophie didn't burn the bridge, she just stopped watering it. And now, she's stronger, wiser, and more respected than ever. But the story's not over yet. Because in part 3, we dive into what Nevada is doing now, the dark backlash that's finally caught up with her, and how Sophie might be planning a quiet comeback that'll speak louder than any apology ever could. By now, we've seen how deep this story runs. Nevada wasn't just a clout-chasing friend, she was a master manipulator hiding behind aesthetics, fake vulnerability, and adult-backed branding. And Sophie, she did what most people wouldn't have the courage to do. She walked away without a public war. But silence doesn't mean weakness, because while Nevada was busy faking tears for TikTok, the internet was keeping receipts. At first, Nevada's new sad girl healing brand worked. She'd post mirror selfies with smeared mascara, caption it with something like, "I'm not who I was. I'm growing, even if it hurts." And for a while, people ate it up. Followers. Likes. Brand still knocking, but something shifted. Small creators started calling her out. Commentary pages posted side-by-sides showing Nevada copying Sophie's style, poses, and even Instagram captions word for word. One clip in particular went viral at TikTok where Nevada mock cries to camera, only to accidentally laugh midway. The audio leaked. Wait, should I add tears? Or just, like, zoom in on my eyes? Boom. That was the moment the curtain fell. Across Reddit, Discord, and even YouTube deep dives, fans started putting it all together. Nevada's healing journey was posted the exact same week Sophie quietly unfollowed her. Her emotional captions recycled lines from old Sophie posts. Her eating habits looked dangerously close to triggering, especially when shown without disclaimers. She linked mental health sponsors to videos that were clearly scripted drama. But what really broke the illusion? She turned Sophie's silence into content. One day, she posted a vlog titled, Let's talk about the one friend who betrayed me. She never said Sophie's name, but the clues were too obvious. And the comment section? They weren't having it. This is disgusting. You lost a real one and now you're playing victim? We've seen Sophie's side. You manipulated her, and now you want sympathy. It didn't take long for Nevada's brand to start cracking. Brands pulled out. One fitness company that had sponsored her deleted all posts with her face. A podcast she was set to appear on quietly removed her episode from the schedule. Mutuals ghosted her. People who used to flood her comments with queen emojis? Gone. And the fan base? They didn't just turn on her, they dissected her. Old clips resurfaced. DMs got leaked. Ex-collaborators spoke out. One former friend even dropped a now viral clip. Nevada's entire personality is whoever she's closest to. She doesn't grow, she just imitates and discards. And then, Nevada went quiet. No stories, no vlogs, no lives. She deleted her Twitter. Unlisted dozens of old YouTube videos. Turned off comments on Instagram. It was like she vanished. But silence from Nevada only amplified one voice, Sophie. While Nevada was self-imploding, Sophie never once threw dirt, no subtweets, no petty TK talks, no exposing Nevada content. Instead, she got back to creating slowly, softly, intentionally. Her first comeback post was a candid photo barefoot, on a beach, smiling. Caption: "Healing in real life doesn't need an audience." That post went viral, not because it was scandalous but because it was real. What happened next shocked everyone. Her engagement doubled. Comments flooded in. "You're such a class act. Thank you for showing that you don't have to clap back to win. We stood with you even when you were quiet." Other creators began inviting her onto their channels. Not to talk about Nevada but to talk about how she handled betrayal, boundaries, and burnout. One interviewer asked, "You never addressed the fallout. Why?" Sophie's answer: "Because if I start turning my pain into clickbait, I'd be doing exactly what hurt me." That moment hit hard. Because it proved that Sophie didn't just survive, she grew. Nevada played a role: the hurt friend, the misunderstood villain, the girl with a dark past and a light ring. But Sophie? She was never performing. That's why her story resonates. She didn't just expose a toxic friend, she exposed the whole influencer machine behind that toxicity. A system that rewards chaos. A system that exploits vulnerability. A system that punishes people for walking away quietly. But Sophie didn't need revenge, she didn't need to trend, she just needed to protect her peace. And in the end, that made her the real winner. Let's be real, the internet is full of these stories. Toxic friendships, public fallouts, emotional manipulation disguised as content. But this story hit differently because it reminded us that silence isn't weakness, that you don't have to perform pain to heal, and that walking away without drama is the most powerful clapback there is. So whether you're Team Sophie, Team Nevada, or just watching it all unfold, remember this: some people talk about healing, others actually do it. And Sophie, she did it off camera.